Can we talk sports for a fucking second, please?
How long has this been going?
An hour
Jesus
plus.
Christ.
Listen, all I want to know is in the NBA, right? We got the playoffs creeping up, right? They got the playing tournaments creeping up. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. But as I'm thinking, right, is which player or team is under the most pressure this season to win it all, or at least make a deep playoff run if they haven't done that before, right? So I'm gonna start with the special guest James, right? Who is under the most pressure to make it deep into the playoffs or win the championship?
I'm gonna give you two. I give you one for each conference.
Y'all, that's fine. Get ready to debate it, whether he's right or wrong.
Okay, we ready. We listening.
From the East, it's got to be James Harden.
Yep.
Really?
It got to be James Harden. He's cried. He's wow. He's cried. He's begged for teammates and different situations to get traded. He bullied his way out of Houston. He got on a team that he wanted to get. He got his boy KD back. If they don't make it to the finals, it's a bust. Forget win. Forget first round. If they don't make it to the finals, it's a wrap.
Devil's advocate here, though, right? So Harden, Kyrie, and KD combined, as of today, May 14th, have played 7 games together total. That's not enough for them to gel or figure out strengths, weaknesses, how they can play together. That's not enough.
Well,
Can I interrupt?
Durant's been injured and Kyrie's been taking sabbaticals. So
And
you know how that goes.
Harden missed 20 games straight.
it's so bad.
So I understand the premise of it, right? But I disagree. JV, you agree or disagree? What are you saying?
I disagree because what I hate about when you talk about sports, but it's just, a fact. When people look back on this basketball season, all they're going to see is that KD, Kyrie, and James Harden were all on the Brooklyn Nets together. They're not going to dissect that season and say, oh, well, so-and-so missed X amount of games. And also, this person suffered from X amount of injury, this injury, which made them sidelined for X amount of weeks or months, whatever the case may be. When you look back 2-3 years from now, or whatever the case, really next year, honestly, when you look back for a few seasons from now, people are going to say, this is crazy. You had them put together one of the most complete teams on paper in the entire association, and they got knocked out the first round, or they
in the
got
East,
knocked out the second round.
Yep.
So
arguably
they're not going to knock out the
players.
first round or the second round. So let's be clear on that. They're going to make it to the Eastern Conference semifinals at least.
I'm just saying in general, if they don't make it to the finals and take a team to 6 or 7, people are going to say, oh, what happened? And so that's kind of how that is. Think about it now. When we talk about things that happened back in the 90s, we don't go back and look at every individual thing about the season and the teams and all of that. We just look at it from a holistic standpoint. So what I'm saying is that no, if Kyrie, KD, and James Harden do not go to the NBA finals, and if they lose, if they don't at least go to 6 or 7, people are gonna say that it was a tragedy.
So you agree? I thought you said you disagreed.
He disagreed with your point, Sean.
I disagree with your
point.
Okay,
bet. So I think that you're wrong because in the era of the big three, right, starting with fucking KG, Ray Allen, and fucking Paul Pierce, right? How many times has the big three won it their first time around? Just name me one. And I'm talking fucking.
Well, KG, Ray Allen,
LeBron of them. No, they didn't win their first year. They didn't win their first year.
Yes, they did.
No, they lost to the Lakers their first year. Then they won.
they beat the Lakers.
Oh no, you're right. Vice versa. I apologize. After them, in 2008, right? What are the big threes done a since?
To be honest, no, I can't name one. I remember when LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne got together, and everybody was like, "Oh, this ain't gonna work out." And then they did end up winning the championship, but like you say, not their first year. I think they lost to Dallas their first year, if I'm not mistaken. So, yes. Again, Sean, in theory, you're right in that sense. I'm saying when you just have your basketball people talking about you had this great team put together, because it's not just those three. That whole team is lit, and they got Steve Nash as a coach. So, like Like they went.
I mean, having Steve Nash as a coach doesn't mean shit.
No. Hear me out. I'm just saying they went all out on this Brooklyn team. Because remember, nobody cared about the Knicks. I mean, now everybody's like, oh yeah, the Knicks made the playoffs. What I'm talking about when this team was being put together, orchestrated, nobody even looked over in Manhattan. Everybody was talking about Brooklyn. And this was going to be the team that was going to rival LeBron. I'm saying if that team does not be successful this postseason and go and win it all, then yeah, I think people are going to look back and say, look what happened there. It's the same thing that we do with any other big threes. Oklahoma City Thunder. How many times have we said, don't you had with KD, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, and we still talk about how that team, like, dang, what was Scotty Brooks doing? Like, dang, you couldn't get nowhere with them. I mean, like, people are going to stay criticizing. So I would say they're not going to look at it from that perspective. Yes, you're right. They only played together for 7 games and maybe
7 out of fucking 72 total.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. You're right. People should look at it that way, but I think you're gonna have more people that do.
Strictly talent wise, yes, I agree. They're the most talented team in the NBA. It's not even close. But you can't discredit cohesiveness. You can't discredit fucking time played together. You can't like take that out of the equation, right? So James and Aaron say the Nets / James Harden.
I got one more.
Oh, another one. I'm sorry. It's from the West.
You mean James and JB?
Yeah, because Aaron didn't even say his thing.
Well, I was going to ask Aaron, but
go ahead, Aaron. Another one. Okay, but one more, and then from the West, and it's going to be a shocker.
Phoenix?
No. I think there's still a lot of pressure on LeBron right now.
No.
I don't disagree.
No.
Because with this whole crying about this play-in tournament thing, and now that they have to do a play-in tournament, it's not guaranteed they're making the playoffs. Because if there's one person that can beat you in one game, it's Curry. And they've been playing.
But if they lose to Curry in the 7-8 play-in game, right, they still play the 9-10 team, which is the Grizzlies or the Spurs. I'm confident the Lakers will beat the Grizzlies or the Spurs in that next game. And the Lakers are the 8 seed, worst case scenario.
If the Grizzlies win Sunday against Golden State, they'll technically be the 8 seed. So that game is like.
So then it would be Lakers Grizzlies then.
Yeah.
I mean, more confident then. Cool.
I can see John Moran winning that game.
No.
Yeah.
I can see.
I don't know. Because I don't know how healthy LeBron is. I don't know how healthy he is.
So I agree with that, but I don't see the pressure there. If LeBron and them would have bounced in the first round, second round, that doesn't taint his legacy. It doesn't.
It don't.
I don't know. The way that these internet trolls have gotten, man, it definitely seems like anytime LeBron missteps, it's just another black mark on his career.
Of course, but if we were to all put all bullshit aside, LeBron is a top 3 player in NBA history right now, whether he wins or loses in the finals this season, period. Or makes
correct.
Right.
But the question
is not going to change. The pressure's not there for LeBron. I don't see it.
I think the pressure's there.
I would say this. I think people are looking for LeBron and the Lakers to do something. I don't think they're looking for them to get swept in or beat up in the play-in and not make it to the playoffs at all. I think they are looking for them to make some noise. I would say if you want to put some pressure, I would say Chris Paul and the Suns, specifically Chris Paul.
Exactly.
Specifically
Chris Paul's always under pressure though, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Specifically Chris Paul. You talk about one of the best point guards to ever do it. A true, legit point guard. Now you got this Phoenix Suns team that didn't even make it to the postseason last year, and now they're like, what? Ain't they like the number 1 team in the West? If I'm not mistaken? Number two right now. So you're talking about the season that they had, and Chris Paul is a big reason of that. I mean, we even talked about how maybe he could even be in the MVP conversation. For him and the Suns to go into the playoffs and to lose against perhaps a Lakers team or a Warriors team or something like that. I think I'd be looking at the Suns like, what y'all got going on?
This is the first time the Suns have been raw in 11 years. I don't see pressure.
Even more so
Chris
of a reason.
Paul.
Listen, even more so of a reason to put pressure. You talk about Devin Booker. We talk about how great he is and how great he can score and how many points he get and all of that. It don't mean nothing if you're not being successful in the postseason. You can get all of the accolades, all of the world. Oh, look, Kobe gave him all this, grace and all this, that, and the other. What does that really mean if you're not turning that into a championship?
Except Devin Booker doesn't really get accolades like that. JV, what's the biggest accolade Devin Booker's ever gotten?
I'm talking about like all the praise that he received from all these people. People used to talk about.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great. Like, fuck the praise. Okay. Show me the facts, right? So,
the car facts. Okay.
Aaron, I'm gonna let you go before I present my case because we might have the same person or team.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I kind of feel like Paul George specifically.
Oh
Okay.
wow, Paul George.
But I want to say the Clippers as
I
a
can see
whole.
that.
I like
Paul
that.
George last year, they called him Pandemic P because he got put in a pack all
Swear to
of
God.
last year in the all of last season
Yeah.
in the bubble. And at this point, a lot of people still think that he can't be the first or second best player on a championship team. And it's up to him and Kawhi, of course, to change that narrative around that.
Why can't he play
And
no
I truly
defense?
feel like I don't even know, man. That used to be his strong point. Defense used to be his strong point, man.
Man, he
And
be getting crossed over
I don't
way too
know.
much.
But I think if something happens to the Clippers,
It could be
Paul
age.
George is not going to be the first bullet they take down. I think they would take down Kawhi first, like from the critic standpoint, then
True.
Paul
Well,
George.
It depends on how Kawhi does. If Kawhi is essentially trying to carry it himself, Paul George is going to get put right back in the pack like
Very
he
true.
was last year.
Very
But I think
Yeah.
the Lakers, I'm sorry, not the Lakers. The Clippers are deeper this year than they were last year too. So Kawhi has a little bit more help aside from Paul George.
Put it this
Right.
way: when the Clippers lose, whoever Paul George is guarding is putting up a double easily.
Very true. That's true.
Fact.
Easily.
But I don't see him being under the most
Who you got?
pressure.
Who are you?
Can
So
I
where
can
are you at with it?
I
Unless
present to you
The
a
Portland
two-time
Trailblazers?
NBA MVP,
It's
a
probably
one-time
Giannis. Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year, right? It's got to be Giannis and the fucking Bucks in a weak-ass Eastern Conference year after year. Giannis is a top 5 player in the league. Agree or
Mhm.
disagree?
I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay, right. So this season specifically, they knew they needed more help. So who did they acquire? Drew Holiday, give you 17 a game, an elite defensive player, two-time All NBA defensive player, or I'm sorry, all defense. Third option, no problem. You got Chris Middleton as your second option. The East is weak as fuck. So you guys can put on all these people in the Western Conference, but the Western Conference is elite from 1 to fucking 7. Easy, right? Because the Lakers are fucking 7 in the fucking West, but they could possibly win it all. The 7th in the East right now is the Boston Celtics. No one gives a fuck about the Celtics. Don't tell me that the Bucks and Giannis are an elite team when he can't get to the fucking NBA Finals one time. Not once. He's been elite for 5 seasons. Okay. And that made it to the finals not one time.
It's true.
So my point is, don't tell me that this team is elite going forward if they don't make it out of the fucking East again. As built. Maybe Chris Mills is not a 2. I don't know. Right. But what I do know is that they have surrounded Giannis with the weapons that he's needed for his game to make it to the finals. All I want you to do is make it one time, brother. He hasn't done that yet. But a 2-time MVP. Right. So as far as pressure goes, I think it's under
MVP.
Giannis. Under anybody else in the Bucks, because next season, if they tell you, "Hey, who's gonna make it to the finals?" Would you guys pick the Bucks right now? If the Bucks if they lose before they get to the finals, would you? No.
No.
Would you maybe pick the
No.
Clippers though?
Maybe.
Maybe,
Depends
right?
on how they
Yeah.
restock.
Yeah.
Would you maybe pick the Suns? Maybe,
Maybe.
right? Maybe the Lakers, right? Maybe, right? But my point is, in the East, you got the Nets, who should win it all either this season or next season. James, no problem. And then maybe fucking Philly after that, and they're also a big ass question mark. I just don't know how they're gonna do with Doc and them in the playoffs. So I gotta see that. But Giannis has had what he's needed this season, and they're still the fucking 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. You can't build a championship roster around Giannis based on what I've seen so far. But he's a 2-time MVP.
Yeah.
Other than Steve Nash, I can't think of another multi-time MVP that hasn't made it to the finals. Can you?
Well, don't get me started with that because I don't even think Steve Nash should have even had that.
But he did though. He did though.
He did.
Nah,
It happened.
So my point is,
they robbed my boat. They robbed me, man.
I swear to, they robbed Kobe. I swear to God they did. But in a weak ass Eastern Conference, this dude hasn't made it to the finals not one time, and he's been elite for 5 seasons.
But he's in Milwaukee. I just don't take him seriously. Like
but he's raw as fuck. He's an elite player. Yeah. He's top 5 in the league. No problem.
He feels like
two-time
the
MVP.
least marketable. He feels like the least marketable superstar ever.
I feel like there's no pressure on him. Like I feel like
that's what it feels. I feel like he feels so nondescript.
Yeah, Milwaukee's happy they're in the playoffs. Yeah, they got a superstar. There's no real pressure.
What are you talking? How can you be a 2-time MVP and not have any pressure on you? That doesn't even make sense.
No. I think what they're saying,
make it make sense.
No. I think what they're saying is because the market that he plays in. Remember when we used to talk about NFL, and I used to say if Mitch Trubisky played anywhere else that wasn't Chicago, it wouldn't be so much pressure on him to be great. Remember we used to say that?
Yeah, you say stupid shit, but go ahead.
But
I agreed at the time when he said it too.
But it's facts. It's kind of like if Giannis was in LA, they would be on him. If Giannis was down in Chicago, if Giannis was over in Boston, if Giannis was in New York, if Giannis was, in any other.
Take the market out of the equation, bro.
But the market matters. The market matters.
Because when you play for a market and a team that you're supposed to win or you're used to winning, you can't have players. That's why it's so hard to play for the Lakers because the Lakers have 17 championships now. Same thing with like a Boston or something like that. Anywhere where they're used to winning more than losing, it's going to be a lot more pressure. So if you go to a market where, for example, where you're used to losing, and then you do okay, people fine with it. That's why I don't think there's really no pressure on the White Sox to win championship. Y'all are just so happy they winning right now.
I would say even sticking with the NBA. I mean, that's a fair point. How you doing? I would say sticking with the NBA. It reminds me of like the Memphis Grizzlies. I know that's a young team, but it's like Ja Morant could pass gas and everybody in Memphis. Oh my God, Ja Morant!
They're just so happy to have an NBA team.
Ja Morant is not a 2-time MVP, defensive player of the year / six-time All NBA player. Fuck out of here. No.
This is the point that I'm making, Sean. I don't disagree with you if we're looking on paper.
Look at expectations, bro. What are expectations for the Bucks? Is it to make it far in the playoffs or is it not right now?
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. We're saying because he plays in Milwaukee, it's not that same pressure that is on him nationally because he plays for Milwaukee. Ja Morant can't shoot for nothing. He can't. And people in Memphis just love everything that he do. Oh, Ja Morant, he made it up. Oh, Ja Morant, oh, look, he got new hair. Oh, Dylan Brooks got shades on in the postgame press conference. They're just happy that they got a team here in Memphis
that's winning.
That's kind of winning here and there. That's all they care about. But put Ja Morant on a team like LA playing with LeBron and he gotta do great. Oh, Ja Morant have a bad shoe night, that's gonna be a problem. Put him up in up in Boston when we expecting him to be great. Because we trying to rival Boston and come out the East. It's gonna be a problem.
And that's why, Sean, that's why LaMelo is doing so good in Charlotte right now, because he has no pressure.
None.
Look at Karl Anthony Towns. Zero pressure.
You guys name all these loser-ass players on these loser-ass teams. Milwaukee's not a loser-ass team.
Exactly.
But Milwaukee's expected to be
in its history been that.
No. Not since Giannis has been elite. But LaMelo's is in the playoff for the play-in tournament.
He is in the play-in tournament.
So I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. Not really.
But
Giannis, give me a fucking MVP. Give me an MVP. That's what I want. An MVP who's been elite for years that has no pressure on them, even though they don't win.
We're saying this is what I'm saying.
But I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong.
Okay, listen. On paper, you're right. If you were to say, if you didn't tell me this guy's name, you say he's a 2-time MVP, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, and he cannot make it out his conference, I'm gonna look and say, what's going on here? But when you tell me he plays for the Milwaukee Bucks, and if you understand that market,
so you're more concerned about the market than the roster construct, is what you're saying.
Well,
the roster is constructed.
Well, pressure is a media construct.
It is what you say. Yes, it is.
And it depends on the media market.
But Aaron, it also depends on how the team performs, right? Because talking media, the Phoenix Suns are not elite when it comes to the media market. They're not. But JV said that they're under a lot of pressure to win, even though it's
I said
Paul. But who plays for what team? Phoenix.
But Chris Paul has played for other teams in larger markets.
That's why he got
wasn't
pressure.
expected to
If
win
Chris
and
Paul
did
was-
not
if
win.
Chris
Chris Paul's never.
That's where
Chris,
that pressure
Chris Paul has
comes
never
from.
been the favorite to win a title on any team he's ever been on. Not fucking once.
That
That's not
Clippers
true.
team.
No, the
Clippers
Clippers were
not
never
the
favorite to
Clippers.
win shit. No,
That's
they were
not
favorite to
true.
win shit.
When he-
Bullshit.
What about those
Hey,
last 3 years in Houston?
Yeah, Golden
those
State was
teams
the
weren't
favorite.
expected to win a
Golden
championship.
State was the favorite to win. Fuck out of here, boy. I'm not going.
Oh,
Golden State
All
with
I'm
KD
saying-
in them. Fuck out of here, boy.
listen.
All
If Chris Paul wasn't on there would be no pressure on the Phoenix Suns to do good.
Not at all.
It's because
No
it's
shit, because
Chris Paul.
they were shit.
They weren't shit because they were balling. They were balling
Come
all
on,
throughout the
all right,
tournament.
all right. Listen,
They
you and
ended-
JV
they
did the same shit. They won the last 8 games, but they still were 5 games under 500. No, there's no pressure there.
All I'm saying is, Sean, is that Aaron makes a great point. As a media member, I can speak to this.
Fuck you.
Oh, you sick, right?
Honestly.
As a media member, I can speak to this, especially in
You cover
sports
the
journalism.
Grizzlies, brother. It's
People,
not
no,
that-
no,
it's not
no,
that
listen.
relevant.
No,
Wow.
listen.
Right, but you see what you're doing there,
But
Sean?
listen,
You're talking
look at
about the
this credit.
market.
Listen,
Exactly.
listen.
Yeah, the Grizzlies are
You're
not.
killing.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
And you're killing your whole argument
no,
right
if
now.
Memphis was favored to win some shit today,
No.
I would 100% be like, JV, you're
No.
right, because Memphis
Excuse
has an
me.
elite roster.
Before
Milwaukee has an elite roster, so
Wait.
everything JV's saying is irrelevant. But go
okay,
ahead.
excuse me. Before I covered the Grizzlies, I was in your hometown, the Chicago Bulls, covering Derrick Rose. Jimmy
When they were
Butler.
good, yeah, good shit.
When they were good. Okay, so hear me out. The point that I'm making is it's the newspaper articles, the ESPN arguments, and those kinds of things that put this pressure on those people. It's Stephen A. Smith talking out in New York about Russell Westbrook, about, oh, well, you're doing all of this, but what does that really mean in Washington to have the national conversation going? Am I right or am I wrong? Back me up, guys. So what I'm
He's
saying
right.
is, with Giannis being in Milwaukee, I'm not disagreeing with you in the context of he should be excelling this year and should go to the playoffs and should go over to the postseason and win in the Eastern Conference because it's a weak Eastern Conference. Nobody on this show is disagreeing with you on that, Sean. But what we're saying is because he played for Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that nobody even cares about the Bucks.
But
They're
they
just
lose.
glad.
That's just a cop out. Well, that's such a cop out.
If they lose,
it's
we
a
won't
fact.
care.
Really?
It's a fact. Look
I
how
don't
much
think
pressure.
there's a smaller market than them in the NBA right now. They have
Is
to
the
be.
roster elite or not?
Yeah,
Are
Sean,
they
but
contenders
pressure-
to get to the finals or
Sean,
not?
Sean, we're
Giannis-
not talking about how they should play.
We're talking about pressure. Yes, pressure's on
Right.
Giannis to
Pressure
fucking make
is
it to
pressure's
the
still a
fucking
media
finals, bro.
thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
regardless
two-time
of what you
MVPs
say.
aren't fucking. It's not pressure for
Sean,
to make it to the finals. I got
Sean,
it. No, I got
you
you. I heard
guys, Sean, in Chicago, they put
Aaron, you're
pressure on
tripping.
Zach LaVine. They put pressure on Zach LaVine.
No,
in
they
Chicago.
don't. There's no
Yes,
real
they
pressure on
do.
Zach LaVine. No, there's
Not
I'm a
this
Bulls fan.
season.
No,
Not
there's
this
no.
season. Not this
What season? What season? We've been losers ever since we got his ass.
Since
We've
he's
lost
been
ever
there.
since we got Zach LaVine.
The-
Fuck you talking about,
My
boy?
point- I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. Every team, the Chicago is a very interesting market.
Any
It's
player that
the
gets drafted to a Chicago team automatically has pressure.
They do. And
There
we
is
don't-
no pressure really on Kobe White. No pressure on Lowry Market.
How I define pressure is this. The Chicago is one of the only markets that is accustomed to having like championships, whether it's the Bulls or you got the Cubs recently in 2016, the White Sox back in 05.
The
But it's like
Blackhawks, yeah.
the Blackhawks.
There was no pressure on the White Sox in 05.
No, hear me. I know, it's not. No, what I'm saying is that Chicago's fan base is just accustomed to mediocrity. That's the difference. You get in Boston, they don't do that. They're not coming to Celtics game if you put mediocrity on the court. But in Chicago, y'all will still show up to every single Bears game, no matter how terrible they are.
That's why the Bulls and the Bears have like the highest like season ticket selling, even when they have shitty teams.
Because
That's why even the Bulls game, a Bulls could win 13 games and you still got to pay $1,000 to sit courtside.
exactly. It was a point in time, Sean, back when I used to cover Derrick Rose and the Bulls, it was a point in time people from Chicago went to Milwaukee to buy really great tickets because they could sit almost courtside for $200-$300. So
Before Giannis, yes, I agree.
Yes. So my point that I'm making is, Sean, is that Milwaukee, similar to Memphis, is happy to have such a great player, but even better than Memphis, they have a 2-time MVP. They also have a defensive player of the year. So yes, you're right. On paper, he should do well. He should excel. He should go to the NBA Finals this year with that team that they got in the weak Eastern Conference. But there are no articles. There are no news stations. There are nobody pressing the Bucks saying y'all better do it. Y'all ain't right, like they would be if Giannis played in LA, if Giannis played down in Chicago, if Giannis played over on the East Coast, they would be doing that. Just playing on the Knicks, there's pressure. And when the last time the Knicks won something?
There is not
Mhm.
pressure playing for a weak ass New York Knicks roster. You sound
Yes, it is.
Yes, there
What are
is.
you
City.
talking
Yes, there
about?
is.
You guys sound
Yes,
crazy
there
as
is.
shit.
You're telling me Melo? You're telling me Melo
especially-
didn't have
No,
all
hold on.
sorts of articles written about him.
Melo.
But
was
those were
on a
bad
good
teams.
No, they
those
made
were
the
bad
playoffs
teams.
every fucking
They
year.
had-
What are you talking about,
They had
bro?
one team that actually
they
contended.
made the playoffs every year.
1 year they
No, hang on,
actually
hang on.
contended.
Melo made the playoffs damn near every year he was with the Knicks. Tell me who was under pressure on the Knicks last season? Who?
The team itself was under pressure.
The
To
team
do
was
what?
under-
To do what?
To
To
turn
do-
around.
Listen,
Get out of here.
listen.
No one knew. No
Listen,
one thought they were
you
going
wanna-
to
you
like
want-
fuck
you
out
want-
of here with
you-
these fake
you
ass
wanna know
narratives,
why?
bro.
There's
Fake ass narratives, bro.
The Knicks have. It's not fake. You're drunk. The Knicks have
Not-
pressure.
Not for this. Not for
Just
this.
be,
Told your ass
the
to
Knicks
drunk.
have pressure just because of how good Brooklyn's doing. Because Brooklyn's
Brooklyn
taking
was
over.
not this good last season. I asked last season. That was my question. What was the pressure on the Knicks last year?
Brooklyn, a new stadium, more of the fans going into Brooklyn games. The Knicks are going to have pressure. So now that they're actually decent, they have to be just as good as the Nets, if not do better.
Yeah, luckily they hired Tibbs. All right, bet. That's good shit. Julius Randle took the next step. All right.
That's
good
why
shit.
I think the Clippers got pressure too, because they got to prove that they're better than the Lakers.
Exactly. I
But
mean,
they
Sean,
had to prove that shit last year, the season before that. It's been Lakers Clippers narrative for 2.5 seasons now.
I guess the only point that I'm just trying to make, Sean, is that I feel like when you are in a smaller market team and your team is not a high priority, because in Wisconsin, your high priority team is Green Bay, even though Milwaukee is 2.5 hours away from Green Bay. That is Milwaukee's team. That's Wisconsin's team. I feel like you can, barely make it, do well, do okay, have some good highlights, and people are happy and content. But I feel like there are certain teams in certain markets, they demand greatness in those markets, in Boston, LA, the Clippers, the Lakers, Golden State. I mean, I remember there was a time where Golden State was not even thought of, right? Like back in, like they weren't even really cared about way before Curry and all of that.
No, I mean they had Run TMC. What are you talking about?
I'm saying like they
So
weren't.
that's
like,
why those teams. So that's why those smaller market teams, when they start doing good, it gets more celebrated, or there's more excitement built because they come out of nowhere because they have no pressure. So after a while, because they have no pressure, they become a good team and they actually become good. And then they have pressure. Like the Warriors have pressure now, but they normally didn't have pressure. So I'm saying
they did.
Yeah.
I agree. And another team I would put in this category that, people are looking at them like, when y'all gonna get it together, is the Philadelphia 76ers.
Because at this point, it's like either y'all gonna do this or just bust the fucking team up.
But that's the same. They're in the same category as the Bucks.
No, Philly's
Joel
different.
Embiid is in the
Philly's a much
same
bigger
category.
Philly fans
Okay,
are different.
so you guys are
Philly fans are different. Philly fans are different than Milwaukee fans.
I just want to make sure, Sean, you understand.
I understand. Aaron, wrap the show up. I get it.
Excuse us.
I
Sean,
get it.
Damn.
I'm so
Sean,
irritated. I'm so irritated,
Jesus.
bro. I'm irritated as fuck right
Just because you brought up your point and nobody agreed with
now.
your
No.
point,
Aaron,
don't get
actually,
hurt.
I'm not hurt about it. I think that everybody's point makes sense to a certain extent, but I think that if you think the
Your point makes more sense than our point.
No. So the Nets point I get to a certain extent, right? The Suns point doesn't make sense at all to me. As far as pressure goes.
As far as Chris Paul goes, you don't think that because Chris Paul been in the league as long as he's been in the league and, played for many different teams, Houston, most recently LA in Lob City days, you don't feel as though him elevating the Phoenix Suns to where they are now is not pressure on them to be very successful in the postseason? We're not talking about just making it and getting beat. We're talking about actually making it to maybe, I'm not even saying they got to go to the finals. I'm saying y'all at least get to the second round of the Western Conference.
No, if you tell me today, hey, the first round matchup is 2-7, it's Suns Lakers, and the Lakers are gonna win, you're not gonna be shocked. And you'll be like, all right, well, it's LeBron. Right?
Yeah, I'll say,
all right, then. What the fuck are we talking about?
I'm saying, all right, yeah, it's LeBron, and yeah, you wouldn't be shocked.
And no one's gonna think twice about Chris Paul and the Suns at that point because LeBron won his first round matchup. It just happened to be against Chris Paul.
I don't know. I still feel like the Suns should have done a little better. I guess I'll say this. It depends on how they get beat. If LeBron sweep them all, yeah, I'm definitely looking sideways at the Suns. Now, if the Suns push them to 6 or 7, okay, maybe so. You're right. It's LeBron. That's who stopped Derrick Rose from getting a championship. So I guess so. But if you tell me, Chris Paul against the Lakers and LeBron injury, he's still kind of like injured but not injured. He's playing well but missed this game and they get swept. by Kyle Kuzma and company, yeah, I'm looking kind of funny at Chris Paul.
All right, fuck that noise right now. Everybody around the horn. Who's going to the finals? East, West. James, who's going to the finals? Then Aaron, then JV. Who's going to the finals right now today?
Try with me.
Yes.
Yes.
Brooklyn's going. Brooklyn's going.
Okay.
The West. I think Phoenix is gonna do it.
Ooh,
Oh
I
my.
like that. Okay.
Oh my.
I respect it. It'd be a decent matchup to watch.
And I'm a Lakers fan.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
All right.
I think the Lakers got something coming that they ain't prepared for it in this tournament playing thing.
I agree. And the Lakers are weaker than I thought, like including the injuries, right, with LeBron, AD, and them. I didn't think the Lakers team was going to be this bad as far as the record goes.
Yeah, you don't want to run into a hungry. This is like an NCAA tournament thing. You don't want to run into that hungry team that wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
For one game.
Because I can see them losing to the Grizzlies. I know y'all think that's funny, but I can. You got a team that.
It's one game.
I'm just saying, you got a team that has nothing to lose, and you let Ja.
He's right. Desperation.
You got Ja Morant out there just yamming on folks. You got Dylan Brooks and Kyle Anderson knocking down threes from all over. I could see it being a tight game, and LeBron try to do a game when
you have one crispy $100 bill in your wallet, right? You've had it for months.
I actually lost it at the casino today. See?
Oh my god.
What I'm saying is the Lakers Grizzlies play. I'd like to bet you $100 that the Lakers win. You cover the Grizzlies. What's up?
I got to look at my bank account because see, I lost some money today at the casino, but we'll get back to you.
So James is down for Nets Suns. Just remember that. Aaron, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Philly in the East.
You love you some Joel Embiid, boy.
Hey, put in work, bro. And in the West, I don't see anyone that really like sticks out to me. I'm just gonna go with the Clippers. Fuck it. I'm gonna go with the Clippers.
Not your MVP prediction for Jokic and the Nuggets.
No, I mean,
Jamal Murray is hurt.
They're missing Jamal Murray. I don't think they're strong without Jamal Murray. That's cool. It's still the regular season.
Okay, so you said Clippers and the Sixers?
Sixers, yeah.
Okay. JV.
I got Phoenix and Philly.
Also, I think that'll be a very low-rated finals. If it's the Clippers. The Clippers and Philly. It'd be so bad.
It would be. I don't even think I'd watch that. But I got Phoenix and Philly.
That might be lower.
That might be lower. It might only be. I mean, think about it. All the MAGA people not gonna watch the NBA finals anyway, so it's already gonna be down. It's already gonna be down 80%. But no, I got Philly and Phoenix.
Does it just feel like the NBA will find a way for it to be Brooklyn and LA?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Which LA?
The Lakers.
Not the NBA is gonna find a way. LeBron's gonna find a way. Because that's my pick. Give me the fucking Lakers versus the Nets, like it's been from day one.
It's the best. It's the best matchup. It's the one that'll get the best rating.
It's the best rating, but
that's my pick as of today, May 14th. Lakers, who are going to be in the play-in tournament, right? Who might lose to the Grizzlies per JV. Fuck out of here, but they might.
Listen, they do.
You sound so hurt.
He do.
No, I'm annoyed because the Grizzlies have no chance against the Lakers in the play-in tournament. Zero.
You don't know.
I think you stop being a broke bitch and figure out some money.
I got a question. So, what would this change your mind if the Grizzlies beat the Warriors in Golden State this coming Sunday to be the 8th seed? Would that change your mind?
No, because to me the Warriors are not really a threat outside of Steph Curry. Like Steph Curry's got to drop 30 to 50 for them to even have a chance.
Yeah.
Which is easy for him.
I'm just saying for him. I'm just saying for this young team to go on a roll and play at Chase Center, they got fans now. Against a hot Warriors team and to win for the 8th seed.
The Grizzlies have a better roster 1 through 12 than the fucking Warriors do, low key. And we're talking the entire depth of
healthy wise, the Grizzlies got a better roster than the Lakers. So how you doing? Healthy wise,
if everybody's healthy?
No. I'm saying
I think he's saying with health.
I'm saying the
Grizzlies
are healthy
built into it.
Oh yeah, LeBron's been fucking milking this shit for a minute though.
I'm just saying, who's gonna stop Jonas Valanciunas?
All right, Aaron, wrap this shit up, please.
Oh my god. Thank you everyone for joining us here on High Chicago on YouTube, or if you listen to us on your favorite podcast platform, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at High Chicago 312. And until next time, peace.
Go White Sox. Peace.
White Sox.
Go.